Last time we got together, we were at the lot looking at it and deciding, where would be the best place for the house and some of the big mature trees and stone walls that were there. Today we're going to meet with the architect to go over some of the ideas he has for the land. What would be best placements, south facing, all the questions that I want to get answered, and he'll be a great resource for us on that. So join us and let's go over and go see him. Let's go.
Thank you.
Hey Rick.
Hi Dave, how are you?
All righty, ready. This is my wife Debbie. This is Rick.
Hi Deb.
Hi,
He's
Rick.
the
Nice to
architect
meet you
that
too.
we're
Nice to
going to
meet
have drawn up the house plans for us.
So excited.
I know.
We're
He's
excited
got
to
a
get
lot of good
started.
ideas. So what do we have here? It looks like you have a big arc drawn on.
Well, one of the first things we do for all of our clients is we analyze the site with you to try to understand, again, the nuances of the site, where the sun's coming from, other things on the site. And we'll lay out some drawings here in a few minutes. We'll talk about some of our concepts of how we might go about it. But first of all, I kind of want to learn more about what your thoughts of the site are.
We have a lot of tall trees on the property,
Yes.
and we definitely like the sun, but we like the trees. So there's going to be a balance as to which trees will stay, and we want to be conscious of which ones.
And that's going to lead down the conversation of solar versus
Yes.
non-solar as well, because
Yes.
that's going to have a major impact on the
Yes.
trees that we have
Right.
to clear. We are major proponents of keeping the big trees and the healthy trees where they are if possible. Thinning up stuff, thinning up areas to make some living space more dappled in light, but also some sunlight in certain areas as well.
Right.
And so I think the combination of that, along with the solar specialists' input, will go a long way to help lay out some of those trees. So one of the things that we think about, obviously, is the sun, right? So this is your AM sun on June 21st, and this is your PM sun. And this is your noon sun. And so the sun comes in an arc around here. It's a little shallower in the wintertime, and probably we're coming up here and probably setting over here in the summer, in the wintertime, a little shallower as it comes down. The sun in the daytime in the summer is coming at a pretty steep angle. The sun in this wintertime is coming in at a lower angle. It kind of gives us an idea where the sun's going to be out here.
We've never really utilized the sun
Right.
to its full potential in our past homes.
Right.
So,
A little solar water heating, but we didn't tie in other things. So
Yeah.
we'd like to try to do both.
And so in the old days, before this latest green kick has gone on, the idea of passive solar homes was a big thing in the 70s and 80s. Passive solar is still a big thing. It's just not talked about as much. The idea of gaining the sun and gaining the energy from the sun to the house in passive ways, not mechanical ways, is always something we think about kind of consciously. So by placing the home block on the southern part of the property is allowing us to get the sun angle the majority of the day. And that not only can power up solar panels, but it also can bring heat into the house in the wintertime. And through design, other passive designs, we can actually keep the sun out in the summertime.
Right. Well, again, passive's all great, but I just had in my mind that they were hard to control temperature, where you, again, being always had radiant floor and this wonderful comfortness, we want to perpetuate that and be able to do it. And so it seems like a little trade-off, I like the sun, but I can't necessarily control it all the time or overheat things. So how would you go about doing something like that?
Well, I think that you can control it to some extent. There is an idea that the roof and its overhangs and other structures can help keep the sun out in the summertime and allow the sun to come in the wintertime. So it all has to do with sun angles.
Now, another concern, I don't know if it's been considered, is the ledge. There's so much ledge in Connecticut, and I don't recall seeing much when we walked the property. So I guess we'll have to.
Yeah. One of the great unknowns in Connecticut is what you're going to hit below the ground. Well, it's really not unknown. You're going to hit rock, just depending on whether that rock is ledge, whether it's
a boulder or ledge.
exactly.
Or, right.
And boulders can be placed and moved and broken apart. The ledge is a little more difficult. There's a cost implication, obviously, with ledge.
Yeah.
And to blast out ledge along the area, it's not a $2,000 or $3,000 thing.
No.
It's a $10,000 or $20,000 item. So.
But that being said, I do like to incorporate, rock and natural, whatever we could use on the property with the home.
You do mention that you want a cathedral ceiling or sloped area in the great room.
Every time we do cathedral, we're going back to energy efficiency. Now we have a trade-off. How much insulation can I put in there? If I had a flat ceiling, of course, I could put in quite a bit more. So we got to play with the design of that, whether it's a web truss or if it's conventionally framed. So to me, the roof pitch doesn't necessarily have to match the interior. We could just create a space for insulation. Again, I like the feel of it, but I hate when you limit yourself for insulation. And
Sure.
we're trying to create this very efficient package, and to lose so much through there.
For aesthetics.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good point, and I think there are ways to accomplish what you're saying with that vaulted space. Right. The most important component of any of this green world within the sustainability is not to burn fuel.
Right.
Right. And so the idea is two components in our thought process. Is one, get your building as tight as possible in a comfortable way, and put in the most efficient mechanical systems you can. The most efficient mechanical system is one that's not mechanical system at all, that's natural. But the idea is generally to get you your dream out here and have you figure out what shade of green you want to end up with.
Right. As green as possible is the end goal, you know, and underscore of comfort,
Yep.
you know, and like we prefaced earlier, you know, how many times we build these super insulated homes, but you talk to the occupants, they're not really comfortable. You know, the most efficient system is one that's off. So you could put 3 sweaters on and never turn your heating system off, and you'll have a great house. It'll be very efficient. It just won't be conducive to live in there, or comfort, or some of the old passive solars that overheated. Well, thank you. I appreciate all your time, Rick.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Rick. This is
Deb, nice
exciting.
meeting you.
Yes.
That was good. Got a lot of good information out of there, and I think really it was a good choice meeting with these people. So in our next episode, we're going to talk about some of the terminologies and vocabulary that we're going to have to worry about on a project like this. You know, also taking to some of the code officials, you know, zoning, building department, doing some other things. Till then, we'll see you soon.